para yung second period ko, pareho lang naman din sasabihin ko kasi, 'di ba? Sige, you can record it. Okay? So, it's all about actually the it's all about hindi ko alam kung pakukumputin ko pa kayo ng ano, you still want quantitatives? Quantitative lesson, or you want theoretical lessons, or you want principal lessons? Oh, papipiliin ko kayo ano, so that you will be very comfortable with the course. At least you would know how to compute for alam nyo, yung sinasabi nating syndicated loan, it's actually a work of a common sense or work of a critical thinking analyst. So we have to work on that. Bibigyan ko kayo ng exercises para maano kayo, masanay. Okay. Ano? What lesson do you want to have today? Is it quantitative? Is it theoretical? Sige, pag pumili ako, syempre yung mahirap. 'Di ba? Okay, let's have... Ano no?
Ay, nabok ba yung mic ko?
Ay, Diyos ko, malabo ang dating mo, anak. Hindi ko marinig.
Nakabukas po pala yung mic ko, ma'am. Kahit na ano po, ma'am.
Kahit na ano po. Oh, that's kahit ano po according to Luis. How about the others? Do you have the same consent if we're going to have kahit ano? Okay, so let us have the open market operation, or rewriting the equation about price, which is equals to your volume of money. So let's talk about volume of money in circulation. Are you good with that? Measures of money supply. Okay. If we are going to discuss about the measures of money supply, it talks about the different or the three levels of money in circulation. Are you able to record that now? You have the M1, which is the narrow money. You have the M1, which is the narrow money. And what comprises the narrow money? Okay? It is comprised with money in circulation plus demand and savings deposit. Demand and savings deposit. That is all about the narrow money. Okay, that is the first classification of money supply. Nakuha nyo ba? Na-take down notes nyo ba? The narrow money comprises of money in circulation, demand, and savings deposit. The other one is called the broad money, which is, if you're going to symbolize it, it's going to be M2. M2. Yung una, M1. Yung narrow money, M1. Yung pangalawa, M2. And what comprises M2? It is comprised of money in circulation, demand and savings deposit, plus time deposit. Ulitin ko. Money in circulation, demand and savings deposit, plus time deposit. May mga nagta-time deposit pa ba ngayon? Okay. The next one is your M3. Okay, what is M3? It's called expanded money. Ulitin ko. The first one was narrow money. The second one was broad. The third one now is called expanded money. It is comprised of money in circulation, demand and savings deposit, time deposit, plus deposit substitute. So when we say deposit substitute, that is equals to investment in securities and bonds. Okay. Expanded money comprises of money in circulation, demand and savings deposit, plus time deposit, and deposit substitute. When we say deposit substitute, that is about investment in securities and bonds. Okay? Nakuha ba? Okay, I'll post later on the derivation of how you will compute the volume of money. Ilalagay ko kasi hindi ko this is an equation and it's very difficult to do it on the screen, but please try to write the formula income velocity of money. You just write there income velocity of money. Income velocity of money is the ratio of total nominal GDP to the stock of money. Class, please try to give me a chat if you think I'm doing it so fast or I need to slow down because you're taking down notes. Anyway, this is recorded and you might as well go back to the lecture every now and then. Okay, income velocity of money is the ratio of total nominal GDP to the stock of money. Velocity measures the rate of turnover of the stock of money relative to the total income or output of an economy. This relationship is mathematically expressed as follows. V is equals to GNP over M. So M represents volume of money, which is equals to price 1 times quantity 1 plus price 2 plus quantity 2 plus price N times quantity N, so on and so forth, over M. In short, it is equals to the price of quantity of money over M. Therefore, your V, which is velocity, is equals to price times Q over M. Or MV is equals to P times Q. Okay, P represents average price level. Your Q represents your real GNP, and your M means stock of money. Okay, nakuha nyo ba, class? Nakuha ba or hindi?
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay. Sige, anyway, it's being recorded. Now, in this equation, velocity may be defined as the amount of nominal GNP each year divided by the stock of money. Intuitively, income velocity of money may also be defined as the speed at which money changes hands in the economy. It means ilang turnover, ilang palitan ng kamay umiikot yung pera. Parang multiplier kasi yan. Ilang beses na umiikot yung pera sa kani-kaninong kamay. That is what it meant by the turnover in the velocity of money. For example, assuming, do you have your notes with you? Assuming that an economy produces only one product, cloth, okay? And GNP consists of 500 million yards. Selling at 10 pesos per yard, hence, GNP is equals to P times Q equals to 500 million yards. times 10 yards, 10 pesos over the number of yards times 5 billion a year. Nakuha nyo? If money supply is 500 million, then income velocity is equal to 10. Okay? Meaning that money turns over 10 times a year. Earnings are used to buy clothes almost monthly. That is 5 divided by 6 times the month, number of month. So that's quite theoretical because you can't actually view or you cannot actually uh, see the values because you need a lot of time to compute for the different element in the volume of money. But simple computation will show you rewriting the equation means sorry.
Ma'am, nakamute po kayo.
Okay. Rewriting the equation is equals to P is equals to MV over Q. Okay, it will be very easy if you know already what is the volume of money in circulation. This is represented by your MV. And then the quantity of how many times it is used or the quantity on how much good is able to purchase out of that volume of money. Then you can just write P is equals to MV over Q. Okay, let's talk about tools of monetary policy. Okay, when we talk monetary policy, you know too well uh, what is monetary policy in terms of the economy's condition. Okay, it is actually a tool of economic development. So it talks about how central bank regulates and imposes the right interest rate or the right cost of money. Ang dami ko nang sinabi, nakamit daw ako. Okay, I'm going to repeat again. A while ago, I was discussing about the insights and I was explaining the movement in prices in relation to money supply. Rewriting the equation for money supply is equal to your P, which is equals to movement of or volume of money over quantity. Okay, rewriting the equation is equals to price equals to volume of money, which is represented by NV over Q, the quantity of money. Okay, now we're talking about tools of monetary policy. When we say monetary policy, it is actually a macroeconomic tool or macroeconomic instrument wherein it is used by our economic managers or our administrators or economic administrators of the country, whereby it regulates and imposes policies on banking system and aside from the banking system, it regulates how much should the interest be. How much should the interest be if you're going to make an investment or if you're going to make a deposit. So that is a guidelines that is being spearheaded by the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, which is headed by who? Benjamin Diokno. He is now our central bank governor, and it is his office that takes that responsibility of trying to see the operation of money in circulation and how it should be priced. Okay, what has that to do with the economy? If monetary policy is a macroeconomic element in the development of each of the country, then what is the relationship of the monetary policy in relation to economic development? In short, paano nakakatulong ang monetary policy sa ikagaganda ng ekonomiya ng bansa natin? Samantalang, ang function ng monetary policy is the regulation of interest rates and interest rate adjustments. Sa palagay nyo, paano? Do you have any idea how this one works? If you are saying, because if I'm going back to history or the previous lessons that we have had, there are two macroeconomic element or macroeconomic segregation or types or classification that helps out economy in terms of fiscal and monetary policy. Di ba dalawa yan? Okay? This is a John Maynard Keynes concept. Ito yung sinabi niyang kailangan ng United States of America to curb the impact of the 1929 Great Depression. Do you still remember the Great Depression and what happened to the people of the United States of America that escalated throughout outside the territory? So, a lot of people have lost their jobs. What happened to the bank? There were a lot of bank runs and there were a lot of companies that closed down. Okay? Remember the fall of New York Stock Exchange. That was in 1929. So John Maynard Keynes thought of suggesting to the government, although he was ignored by the government, knowing that parang he doesn't have credibility in saying so, but later on, they found out that his suggestions were that of something to consider, knowing that it can, it created an impact if they're going to have the so-called fiscal and monetary policy. Yung monetary policy, ang sabi niya, dapat ma-regulate ang interest rate para makontrol natin yung perang umiikot sa labas. Kasi if there is so much money in circulation, just like in our previous lessons that we have been taking up and we have been repeating all throughout, if there's so much money in circulation, then what will happen to the goods and services produced when it doesn't move in quantity? Okay? Maraming pera sa labas pero hindi nadadagdagan ang production capacity natin. Therefore, ia-absorb ng available goods and services yung maraming pera sa sirkulasyon. 'Di ba? Kaya magtataasan ang presyo. Kaya nandoon yung tinatawag nating ang taas-taas ng inflation rate natin. Bakit mataas? Kasi maraming pera yung tao eh. Tapos ang production capacity ng bansa natin hindi naman nadadagdagan. So natural, para ma-absorb ngayon yon ay itataas ang presyo ng mga bibilhin, which is also an imbalance. So what should the government do now? Making use of the monetary policy. Anong gagawin ng monetary policy? Okay, yung mga monetary board members, ang gagawin nila, they are going to adjust interest rates higher than expected so that the people will be enticed to bring their money in the bank. Okay? By doing so, that will now decrease the volume of money in circulation because it is now siphoned by the banks. So, if the bank, if the different banks will absorb the interest rate, they should have a channel on how to make money because they're not there to make the banking system operates by losing it, right? Hindi naman mag-ooperate ang bangko ng lugi. So kailangan kung magbabayad siya ngayon ng interest na mataas sa kanyang mga depositors, kailangan maipagpautang niya yung kanyang nakuhang mga deposit ng mas mataas pa ang interest, ng mas mataas pa kaysa sa interest na prevailing. Nakuha nyo ba? Mabilis ba? Ang sinasabi ko, kailangan din kumita din yung bangko ng mas mataas doon sa interest na binigay ng inimpose ng central bank sa mga deposit. Okay? Saan dadalhin ngayon ng bangko yung mga deposits nyo na malaki ang babayaran niyang interest na kailangan niyang maipagpautang ng mas mataas na interest. Okay. Ang bangko ngayon, itra-transform niya yon, ipapautang niya sa mga kayang umutang at magbayad ng malaking interest. Nakuha niyo ba? And usually, ang takers ng mga loans na yan ay ang gobyerno natin. Okay. Ngayon, di ba monetary policy yung pinag-uusapan natin? Ngayon, since marami ang pera sa bangko at kailangan niya magbayad ng malaking interest sa kanyang depositor, kailangan maipagpautang niya yung mga deposit nyo sa mga entities na malaking magbayad ng interest. At ang pag-asa nyo lang dyan, ang pag-asa lang ng bangko dyan ay ang gobyerno natin. Yun naman papasok ngayon ang fiscal policy. Ngayon, ang gagawin ng gobyerno natin, ipapump
Ma'am,
I have to stop because somebody's making a lot of noise, okay? Okay, we're talking about monetary policy and sabi ko, ang gobyerno kasi natin, kayang magbayad ng malaking interest. Okay? At during that time, pag naiisip nyo na maraming pera sa sirkulasyon, tapos kinuha ng bangko, kailangan ng bangko mag-survive. So ipapautang niya yan sa gobyerno natin kasi ang gobyerno natin kayang magbayad ng malaking interest. At sa panahon na yan, take note, sa panahon na yan, kailangan ng gobyerno nating mag-pump prime ng ekonomiya. So pag magpa-pump prime ka ng economy, kailangan dyan mo bubuksan ang mga infrastructure project na malalaki. Okay? So nakita nyo yung connection ng monetary sa fiscal policy. Kasi pag fiscal policy kasi ang pinag-usapan natin, it talks about how the government collect taxes and how it should spend wisely those collected taxes. Efficient tax collection and spending ang ibig sabihin ng fiscal policy. Kaya kinukonek ko ngayon yung monetary sa fiscal. Nakuha nyo? Anong mangyayari if the government will have almost all this infrastructure, if it will start constructing roads and bridges, it will start constructing more seaports and airports, it will start doing a very technologically advanced superhighways, railways, yan, malalaking pagkakagastos na ng gobyerno yan, di ba? At kailangan niya ng pondo. Ano ang inaasahan naman niyang pambayad sa bangko? Yung makukolektang taxes. Paano siya makakakolekta? Yung mga tao nga naghihirap kasi inflation, yung mga tao naman nawawalan ng trabaho kasi nagbabawas ang mga business sector. Kaya nga, mag-open siya, magpa-pump prime siya ng economy para magkaroon ng opportunity ang mga taong makapagtrabaho ulit. Kasi titingnan nyo ang multiplier in layman's term. Kasi ang multiplier na tinatawag sa macroeconomics, quantitative yan. Pero ano ang interpretation niyan sa layman? Ganito yan. Pag sinasabi nating multiplier, ganito, tingnan nyo ha. Yung taong nawalan ng trabaho because of the government project was able to get that opportunity to work again. If that person got the chance to work again, nagkakaroon siya ulit ng purchasing power. Okay? Kakayahang bumili. Okay. If it has that capacity to buy, the goods and services that his family needs, that will now ignite production of other goods and services by the industry. And if the industry will produce more, it means they're going to open up employment opportunity again for others to get a job in the industry. Did you get that? And if a lot of people who are unemployed will have their employment, they will again be given that power to buy, purchasing power. They can send their children to school. They can bring their sick relatives to hospitals. Do you get that? Therefore, the linkages of having an income that ignites the industry to produce more and for the industry to hire again will be a cyclical pattern that will have an impact in the business cycle for a recovery. Therefore, if it is already a recovery period and industries have been producing more and more goods and services, what happens again? Okay? What happens? People who have deposit will have to withdraw their deposit because the interest rate went down. And they'd rather spend their money rather than have it deposited in a bank with hardly no interest at all. Did you get it? And therefore, the citizens' spending capacity have increased, ignite the economy again, or the industry to hire more because they need to produce more. And if there are a lot of industries that are in operation, that means the government can collect better volume of taxes. And if the government can have a good collection of taxes, which is both income and corporate taxes, then it can pay back the banks na inutang niya. It can pay back the banks to where he have loaned to pump prime the economy. Did you see the long connection of that? Did you see the long scaffolds of operation on how monetary and fiscal policy connect to each other? Okay, let me ask you, is there something that you want to clear it up? If there's something that you want to clear it up, say it now. Okay. So let's go to our next lesson. It's all about open market operation. Since then, I told you, central bank is the bank of all banks. And there's no question about that. Everybody, that concept is relived every now and then. Central bank is the bank of all banks. And you personally cannot deposit your money to central bank. You can only make deposit to your individual banks. And these are BPI, Metrobank, Union Bank, Banco de Oro. That is where you can deal with, okay? But this time around, because of these tools of monetary policy, people can directly deal with the central bank through the so-called open market operation. So what is this open market operation? It is a main tool in increasing and decreasing money supply. This is implemented through the selling and buying of government securities to and from the banking system. Okay? So directly, you can buy securities from central bank because this is the only window when people can deal with that central bank, that institution. Okay? Next. The other tool for monetary policy is so-called rediscounting facility. Okay, so what is rediscounting facility? The rediscounting facility of Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas is the lending window of central bank to commercial banks. It works like this. For example, San Miguel Corporation applies for a loan from Metrobank in the amount of 200 million. Okay? San Miguel Corporation applies a loan from Metrobank in the amount of 200 million pesos. If the project for the loan applied for qualifies for rediscounting, Metrobank may opt to lend 100 million of its own fund and borrow from BSP, Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, 100 million. So that's other half. Okay, San Miguel Corporation wants to loan from where? Metrobank, 200 million. And Metrobank is willing to let go of 100 million, but it can get a rediscounted interest where central bank can participate and get the other half of the loan. And he will be the one who will provide the 50% of the loan that is being applied for by San Miguel Corporation. So 50% coming from Metrobank, rediscounted interest rate coming from Central Bank of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. What it meant by that rediscounting? Okay. For example, if Metrobank gave the loan to San Miguel Corporation at 5%, okay? At 5%, Metrobank can offer that to Central Bank at 4%. Okay? The Metrobank will ask Central Bank for a rediscounted 100 million that Metrobank will pay Bangko Sentral at 4%. So what does that mean? What does that mean? That Metrobank will have an additional 1% interest earning out of the 100 million that central bank have provided. Did you get that? Quite complicated, but this is how it works. Diba? That is what it meant by rediscounting facility. Ulitin ko, Metrobank will provide 50% of the 200 million loan. Okay? 50% lang. So that means 100 million pesos. The other 100 million will be coming from Central Bank or Bangko Sentral through Metrobank. Metrobank will pay Central Bank 4% for the 100 million, but Metrobank will collect 5% for San Miguel Corporation for that 100 million portion. Did you understand? Okay, I hope it did not complicate the understanding about it. Okay, if the central bank wants to inject more liquidity into the system, it will lower its rediscounting rate and increase the list of projects which may qualify for rediscounting. On the other hand, if it wants to reduce liquidity, it will increase the rediscounted rate and shorten the lists of projects that may qualify or altogether close its rediscounting window. Okay, let's talk about the other tool. So this is the third tool now. The first one was open market operation, rediscounting facility, and the third is reserve requirement. So what does reserve requirement means? This is a powerful tool because if the central bank or Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas would like to screw or will like to squeeze a little bit of the money in circulation, what do central bank usually do? What does it do? Okay. It will increase its reserve requirement. For example, if you have deposited the 100 million and the central bank will require the bank to have 25% reserve requirement, that means 250,000 pesos should be part of the reserve. Okay? But if it wants to screw or to tighten credit, it will require, instead of 25% reserve deposit, it can increase that to even 40 to 45% reserve requirement. That means the banks can only work on the 55% of deposit for their lending facility. Okay, so that is the third. Now, I don't know if you're still convinced that the moral suasion, which is number 4, as a tool of the monetary policy, is still effective. Moral suasion is non-monetary in nature, but this is the central bank trying to convince the bankers, the depositors, to really go with the programs that are implemented. It means pakiusap in our dialect. It's not really begging, but that is how it's called. It's moral suasion. So they try to convince you at the deepest of your emotion to really agree with the government, to really exchange your foreign exchange money or your foreign money like dollars, yen, pounds, to change to have it uh, in cash in the banks rather than the black market. Yun ang mga those are some examples of what moral suasion can do. They are going to convince the citizen to have their dollars or their foreign money exchanged in a bank rather than in the open black market. So you know what is black market, of course. Those who are money changers that is outside the banking institution. They are called black market for foreign exchange. Did you understand? Okay. Do you have any question, class? Okay, let's have the effects of monetary policy. Let's have the effect of monetary policy. The immediate effect of monetary policy implementation is on interest rates. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas objective is to contain inflation. Okay. Is to contain inflation, interest rates goes up. Conversely, if the objective is to stimulate the general level of demand, interest rates go down. Okay? If the economy would want you to spend your money, what happens? They're going to lower the interest rate so that you can buy high valued appliances, pay that on a monthly basis, maybe on an installment basis at the lowest interest possible. That is how to attract consumer spending. Okay, if for example you want to buy a car and then you want to pay it for 5 years and the interest is just very, very small, then the consumers will be enticed to really avail of that opportunity to buy their cars on installment at the lowest interest possible. So that is one impact of the monetary policy. History, however, has shown that effectiveness of monetary policy has its own limitation. Okay, tatandaan nyo ha. It has its own limitation. Why? Okay, let me explain it this way. Why there is limitation? You cannot just continually increase the interest rates of deposits if only to maintain money in circulation. Why? That will kill the industry. There will be no economic expansion because the businesses cannot avail of a cheaper loans. Did you get that? When the interest rate is so high, that is supposed to be a benefit for the consuming public. But that is a sickness or a weakness on the part of the business sector. They cannot avail of loans for expansion at a very, very high cost. See? So, if the interest rates are so high, you will be encouraged to deposit. And the indication for that means there is so much money in circulation. And another indication is that our economy is not functioning so well. Okay. Another limitation, if interest rates is so low, okay, the losers are the consumers. That will discourage them to spend. That will discourage them to invest. Nakuha nyo ba? So, both very high interest and low interest have their own limitation. These have to be done in short run period only. When I say short run period only, it should be for a certain period of time and it should get its momentum back. Why? It will result to an imbalance in the operation of the economy. As Keynes have observed, okay? As Keynes, when I say Keynes, I'm pertaining to John Maynard Keynes have observed, even if the interest rates go down, if there is no one who is wanting to borrow, demand will remain low. Okay. Even if the interest is so low, if there are no takers of the loan, just like what's happening today, with all the credit facilities that the government have offered to almost all the investors so that they can pump prime or they can continue on with their business, during this pandemic, they are so timid or they are so shy in availing of the credit because they don't know the future. Because they don't know the future of this business environment, knowing that the pandemic keeps on bothering, keeps on doing some imbalances in our business environment. See? Have you noticed that even if the interest rate is so low, businesses are still not able to avail of it because they're not expecting so many people to really go out, do parties, eat outside, do some uh, do some shopping, uh, have some tours outside the town, outside the country, and so on and so forth. So, even the use of credit cards, people are not so keen on doing it because they're not expecting to, maybe they're not expecting that they can receive their salary still, or the company to where they're working might close down, and therefore that results to a lot of interest that they're going to pay later on. See, uh, can you see now the dynamics of how this one works? Diba? Parang ang hirap-hirap. Diba? Okay, let me give you some questions here. Q&A. Are you ready? What are the most important functions of central bank? Do you know the most important functions of the central bank? Okay, write it down. Currency issuance. Currency issuance. Withdraw damaged currency from circulation. Clear checks. Issue banking regulation. Lead the banks. Salvage problematic banks. What does it mean by salvage problematic banks? When we say the word salvage, what does it mean to you? Diba it's something negative? But when we say salvage problematic banks, it means isasalba or tutulungan. That is the right term that is used in this aspect of banking. Okay, another one is the components of the components of narrow money. Okay, so what are the components of narrow money? Can you share it with us? Russell, do you still remember what I dictated to you a while ago? What are the components of your money? Of narrow money? Money in circulation, deposit and savings, deposit and demand deposit and savings deposit. How about road money? Okay, aside from the money in circulation, you have the demand deposit and savings deposit. You have to include time deposit. And then the expanded money, which is N3, uh, aside from money in circulation, demand and savings deposit, you still have the time deposit and then the deposit substitute. So what are some of the deposit substitute that you know? These are securities and bonds. Okay? Oh, what else? Now, let's go quantitative. Compute for the answer required based on a given data. If I'm going to tell you the price is 2, P is equals to 2. Your Q is 3,000 and your M is 1.5 million. So what is the volume of money in circulation? What do you have to do? V is equals to P times Q over M. So that results to 4 to the negative 0.03 exponent, or equals to 0.004. Okay, take that as an example so that you can practice it at home. The given is P, which is equals to 2. And then your Q is equals to 3,000. Your M is equals to 1.5 million. You are looking for V, which is the volume of money. So what you get to do with it? P, which is 2, multiply it to the Q, which is 3,000. That will give you 6,000 over your M, which is 1.5 million. Therefore, your answer is 0.004. Okay, so that is an example. I'm going to give you some exercises in that. But what does it mean by V in the equation? It means velocity of money. What does velocity means? It is a measure. It is a measure to the rate of money turnover. Ilang beses umiikot yung pera. Okay. V is velocity of money. What is your quantity? Of course, that's represented by your Q. So what is P times Q? What is P times Q over M? It is equals to the velocity of money, di ba? Okay. You want another one? Velocity, yes. Very good. V is velocity. Okay. Okay, now, question. If P is equals to MV over Q, that justifies the quantity theory of money. Yes or no? Kasi may bagong term. Did you get that the price, which is the same as the price in the given, show your solution to justify? Okay. So what is your P? 2 pesos. What is your Q? 3,000. What is your what is your volume of money in circulation? It's M, which is 1.5. So the answer then was 0.005. Yeah? And that is your velocity of money. Hi. Okay, question. Do you want Hmm. A rediscounting problem. Do you want a rediscounting problem? I'm going to give you a rediscounting problem. The problem is, please take down notes. You're going to answer this one. You're going to answer this one so that you can probably answer the quiz that you're going to have on Friday. So this is rediscounting. I'm going to give you a question here. You write it down. If tan conglomerates, you know too well who Lucian is, right? If tan conglomerates will borrow 35 million at 16%, at 16%, BPI can extend 40% of the amount loaned. Equitable Bank or say Metro Bank. What is equitable now? Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Uh, say Banco de Oro. BPI can extend 40% of the amount. Banco, Banco de Oro can lend 30% of the 35 million. Philtrust can lend 50% of Metrobank. And Metrobank can lend 50%. Assume that interest is at 16%. Ngayon, if Tan Conglomerates will borrow 35 billion pesos at 16% interest, BPI can extend only 40% of the amount of loan. Okay? Banco de Oro can lend 30%. Philtrust can lend 50%. And Metrobank can lend 15%. Assume that the interest is 16%. Ngayon, I'm going to give you 3 minutes to compute the amount of interest that should be paid to the different banks. Madali lang, di ba? Okay, first question is, how much in real value will BPI be extending to the TAN conglomerates? That is the question.
Again, ma'am, sorry po. Hindi ko na-type po.
Alin yung question?
Yes po, ma'am. Pwede pong pa-repeat po ulit.
How much will BPI in real value extend to the TAN conglomerates? Do you have the answer? Ano in real value yung share ni BPI sa ipapautang kay TAN conglomerates? Oh, what is the real amount of peso that BPI will extend to BPI? Na-complete niyo na ba? all of you still participating in the discussion po? O ano na yung magkano na ipapautang ni BPI, kay TAN, conglomerates? Apple! 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 Oh, Isabel, Christiana, Christine, how much will BPI extend to conglomerates as its portion of the loan? Who would like to answer? Luis, Bianca, Patricia, o ano na, Anthony? Wala, nag-mention lang ako ng pangalan, lumayas na yung iba. How much will BPI extend to TAN conglomerates if its share is 40% of the 35 million peso loan? Wait. Wait po, sasagot po ako sa fluctuate. Oo nga, nagpa-fluctuate mga natin. Sige. Same here. Oh, are you computing? Because I have a succeeding question. Okay, that's up to you. I'm going to give that to you as your assignment. And that's going to be followed by so many questions later, okay? That is some of the quiz I'm going to give you for next meeting. So you're going to have the rediscounting computation. Okay? Since it's already quite late, not really quite late, malapit na rin ang time. I think Miss Fabiola, Ilda, Gloria Amaral is here. I don't know, Miss Fabiola, you have a lot of miss activities, and I just hope that you will recover. You can recover all those missed quizzes, because even if you say you are an AOL, you are still bound by the timeline that exams and quizzes and activities are given. AOL does not exempt anyone from submitting online, on time, their work. I hope everybody understand that, and I have to be fair with everybody. Comply, and you are going to be given credit. But if you cannot comply, then comes the computation of grade, and you will ask me to reopen this and reopen that. I think that's no longer part of our agreement as a class. I have to protect also the integrity of the quiz and the exams, and I have to be fair with those who are submitting their works online. Okay? That is what is Fabio. Thank you. Okay. Luis, I cannot wait for your answer. But if you have some problem with the internet, okay, I'm going to end up there. But I hope that we can have and we can still meet some other times. And by next meeting, all our the things that we're going to do is about the final exam. Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you for coming. And please pause the recorded ones, Mr. Luis, uh, Russell. Kung sino man yung nag-record, pakisend nyo naman sa akin so that I can share it with the others. Okay? Thank you very much. Pakisend nyo naman yung link. Kung sino man yung nag-record.
Tapos na. Ang bihira.
Mahirap ba?
Yung pagpasok ko tapos na.
Sino?
Nag-restart ako.
Ah, ano ba sagot mo, Luis?